Hello, everybody. How are you? This is going to be a full day of fun. So welcome, come in. I hope you have something cool to drink and enjoy the fun. And I hate to even tell you, but today is marbling day here at Our Time to Quilt. So it's going to be fun, and hopefully, I think we're just about ready. I think we're just about there. Okay, so let me see. Oops, let me, okay. There you are, Mary. Hopefully you can hear me, darling. But we are going to have so much fun today. First thing is Mark's Indigo Quilt is all finished piecing except for the border. Hold on a second. There we go. I have to cut out the border, but it's all done except for that border. So I'm so excited. I'm surprised no one else is here. Maybe I put something wrong in the write-up. Actually, I did edit the title. So we'll wait and hopefully the others will find us. But that quilt, hello, Sonia, sweetheart. What ended up happening, that quilt had 16-inch blocks, 30 of them, which means that right now, as it stands, it is 80 by 96, maybe. And so it is big. I've never made, you can hear me fine, good. I've never made that big. Hi, Betty Meisner. Hi, sweetie. Hello. Oh, I'm so glad y'all are here. We're going to have so much fun today. I have some goodies. I bought some things I made, and then we're going to do marbling. And so I'm very excited about today's show because we're going to pack in so much fun today. So, who are you happy for? Let's see. Your daughter got engaged last night. Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations, Mary's daughter. So that is terrific. Oh, and my 17-year-old granddaughter got her driver's license. Yay. So if you live in North Carolina, be careful on the road. What's so cute is she ended up getting her mom's former car, and she put flowers on it and seat cushions. I mean, it is hilarious. Seat covers. So I can't wait to see it. She'll be over this coming up week because we're going to start on her gown. So I'm very excited, and don't worry, we'll tape it and show it to you at the end. You know, we'll do a brief little taping here and there. But Marcia is here. Marcia, I hope you've had some time to visit with Dan, or is that not coming up yet? But I'm excited for you. Okay, so I finished that quilt, and it's so cute. Every step of the way, Mark has been making the decisions and telling me what he likes and doesn't like. It's so cute. And I love that indigo. And he was pointing out today how that because it's indigo dyed, he sees like moons, he sees sunsets, he sees clouds. There's so many things that to look at the fabric, it's like being a kid on a summer day laying there looking up at the clouds and trying to identify things. So he wants you to redo your house. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Betty. That was very nice of you to say. And so he has decided he wants, I didn't have backing big enough. And you don't want to back that with a color or pattern because it will show through the white. He's also decided he doesn't want cotton batting. He wants polyester because he wants it to be warmer. And not only does he want polyester, he wants 2 layers of polyester. He said, I'm going to want this quilt to be on my bed in the summer and the winter. And I'm like, okay. So luckily, I was going to have to go buy some white batting. But now, since I'd have plenty. Nadine! Oh, yay! What a happy day. Nadine is here. Hi, sweetheart. How's that big red fella? He sure is pretty, let me tell you. And it just makes me want to get out a curry comb and give that boy a brush down. So I love horses. Just they're a lot of work, aren't they, sweetie? So nice to see you, hon. So good to see you. We're going to do marbling by the end of the show. So Nadine, if you end up going to sleep by that time, because Nadine's in Germany, then if she's asleep, she'll have to watch the repeat. But oh, it's so good to see Nadine. Yes, and I'm so proud of Germany. They've been doing so many wonderful things, and they must think, what in the heck is going on over in the U.S.? I mean, we won't get into that today, but send help. We need calm, rational, intelligent, educated people to help us. So anyway, but you don't go to work tomorrow. Yay, you can play. That's wonderful, sweetheart. So anyway, but Mark, he wants polyester batting because he wants it to be warmer. And he said he wants, Kathy, hi. He wants it to be nice and fluffy. And I said, okay. And the nice part of that is my quilting will show on it. So that'll be nice. It'll be nice and puffy. So I've got to think of what design. He did give me free rein to do any design I wanted. Yay. But then we were looking for backings, and I found one I thought would be great. Nope, didn't like it. He finally said, I just want white, pure white backing. I said, okay. And then I said I wanted it to be a heavier weight fabric because you can get cheap white fabric that's only like just over 3 ounces per square yard. But I wanted one that was closer to 5. So we went ahead and got a name brand white backing. So that's going to come in. I had to order that. Then I was talking to him about the border, and I had some fabric here that I bought because it looked like indigo, and I thought I could use it as part of an indigo quilt. He said, nope, he doesn't want anything to upstage the main designs, and he's afraid that this on the border would get too much attention. So now he's decided, hi, Jan Parker. Is Jan Parker? Hi, Alberta Conti. Hi, sweetie. She's from Maryland, where I used to live. And then Jan Parker, hello, yay. In fact, was it Jan, the one yes, I wrote a reply back to Jan this morning. She saw my very first video, and but now he's decided this can be the binding. I told him it might be nice to have a sharp binding, but the border is going to be pure white. So he's a purist, I guess, but I'm so tickled. Don't tell him, but I just sit there, and inside my head when he's, taking all this so seriously, I'm just tickled to death. I kind of giggle in my head because he's got very serious opinions about it. And today when he was hanging it up for me, I asked him just to throw it down the stairs because we had it hanging upstairs on a quilt. Because every time I make something, I find there's a quilt in our living room, and I'll hang it on that, and that way it gives me a chance to live with it and see if there's anything that, it gives me new ideas for something to do, or it helps me see if there's a problem with the quilt. And it's kind of like having a design wall upstairs, you know. And so I told him, just toss it down because I wanted to show it to y'all today. And he said, he brought it down, set it carefully over there, and then he hung it very carefully, and he was trying to get it straight, you know, get it just right. So cute. So darn cute. So that blanket is very important to him. And I did tell him, I told y'all last week, never bleach this. Don't touch this. But it's beautiful. There is something about indigo. And knowing that I hand-dyed the fabrics makes it extra special. So when we were talking about backing, I said, well, that backing's going to be about $50. And he said, how long do you think this quilt will last? And I said, well, I hope at least 25 years. He said, well, when you divide that up by 25 years, it is not a problem. That is worth it. I got so tickled. So I got so tickled. So anyway, all right. So I've got, when we do our show and tell, I got a few new pictures in. Make sure, people, that if you'd like to share pictures of your work or your garden or your flowers, send me an email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. I'm typing it in right there. Also, if you'd like to join our groups IO, then just send me an email to that email address and say, I'd like to join your group, and I'll send you an invitation. So, but when we do our show and tell today, I want to make sure to show you the Bear Creek fabric store. They just have the most beautiful fabric selections. And I wrote her and told her, you know, I have a little channel, but I am going to tell my people about you. So I want to make sure. And if you order anything from them, tell them you saw it on here, because I don't get compensated. I just do this for fun. But the main thing is when I see good people doing good business, I like to recommend them. Okay? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to get it on the frame. So the backing should come in this week. And, oh, I lost my mind. Today's show is dedicated to Mark, whose birthday is in 2 days. So he's out on a motorcycle ride today, and I wish him a very happy birthday. And I'm very happy he found his way into my life. So because it has to be karma, because there was no way I would have expected him he and I to ever get to meet. And when you live 1,400 miles apart, you really don't think that you'll ever meet. So anyway, all right, so there is that indigo quilt. I want to do more indigo dyeing. I am madly in love with indigo dyeing. And just so you know, too, I have some indigo fabric still left. I've packaged them into charm packs so that they could be affordable. And so if you would like an indigo charm pack, please send me an email, and they're $15 for one, $25 for two, $4.50 flat rate shipping. And I think it's definitely magical. All right. Oh, we're very lucky. We found each other, and some of you might know and some of you might not. I was running a Greyhound rescue. You know, the Greyhound dogs that race on the tracks. I started a Greyhound rescue. It was a kind of a low point in my life, and I just needed something that I believed in. And so I adopted out 200 dogs in 2 years, and wonderful people. And there was this big called Grey Talk, a Greyhound chat room that's nationwide. And someone said, well, I've got this guy named Mark in Dallas, Texas, and I was in Maryland. Dallas, Texas, and they are gentle and sweet. And he's interested in one of the dogs we have. And I'm thinking, he's all the way in Dallas, Texas. I don't have time for this. It was, my marriage had fallen apart. It was a lot going on. But I wrote him a polite email and said, I'm sure you can find someone near you that can help you. Well, guess what? That was Mark. And so I guess it was, 6 months later, I met him on Gray Talk and we just started talking. And I mean, we were like, within a week of starting to talk, we were talking on the phone for like 9 hours straight. So it was meant to be. People say, how do you meet someone? And I say, do something that you love. Find something that's a good activity that maybe gives back, and and you hopefully will meet people that are doing the same thing. So, and just 2 weeks ago, we celebrated 18 years together. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Well, enough of that. So I'm going to show you this Bear Creek site and to show you that some of the fabrics are so beautiful. It always makes me regret trying to cut down on the fabrics I buy. But anyway, now I bought a couple little surprises from Pineapple Fabrics. It was a sale too good to miss, and the fabric was too bright to miss. So then I'm doing more cleaning on the studio. It is a huge job. There are a few little hints and tricks I wanted to give you. And so if I can tell you, we do meet. And we truly met on the internet. And this was back before. Everybody does it now, but it was kind of early on for us. But when you're cleaning, couple little hints. Start high and clean down. The floor is the last thing that you clean. But boy, my radio, I went to turn it on today and I went, I need to dust that radio. So just start up high, dusting your curtains, things, work your way down. The main thing though is have a place for everything. Don't just store stuff at the nearest surface. Try to have a place. Urgently needed. Yeah. I mean, hello. So I say, hey, Mark, I'd like to, spend a little bit of money. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. This time I went, Mark, I'm buying a couple little things. I'm going to spend around $20. Thank you. So, and he looked, those are nice. Yeah, go ahead. Because if I just tell him I'm doing it, he's like, well, she really likes this. But anyway, but have a place for everything. The best thing you can buy are storage containers, whatever. Label them if you can. But the main thing is have everything in your room have a home. If it has a home and it doesn't just live on your cutting table or your sewing table, which is what my stuff's been doing, because I hadn't taken the time to put it away. If everything has a home, then it's easy to find and easy to clean up. And I told you last week, I have this folding table that I clear off a surface, put everything up from that surface onto the folding table. Then from the folding table, I decide how it's going to be divvied up, even thrown away, and then I organize to put things away. And that really helps because sometimes I find I get overwhelmed. I'll see a really piled up space and I'm overwhelmed. So the main thing is try to first take one area, put everything where it belongs. While you're doing this, feel free to throw things away. Feel free to put some things in a donate pile. You've heard this before, and it really works. And let me think, was there something else? Oh, also, for your studio, with all that fabric, It tends to hold moisture in the air, especially in summertime. I'm in a walkout basement that's more damp than, let's say, a main level. So we have containers of damp rid stationed all around the room. They really work. You can even get damp rid bags that you put on a clothes hanger and hang in your closet. I highly suggest that. We also have a dehumidifier in the laundry room right next door. And when we have a lot of humid weather like we're having right now, like this window here is all foggy because we had a storm come through last night and the night before. But anyway, damp rid is wonderful for removing odors. Be careful leaving too much paper around that's not in a plastic bag. And get yourself one of those little gel room fresheners. It's so nice. It kind of builds you up to smell a pleasant smell in your room. But I just, be aware that dust and mold and all of that, it can build up in a room. And if you're going to be sitting down here for hours, be really, really careful. Now, my granddaughter's coming over this week, so I've got a deadline to finally get this room clean because I don't want to pull out her satins and organzas in a dirty room. And we have to have space to work. So that's for today. Just remember, damp rids, dehumidifiers have a place for everything and put everything in its place. Another thing, sometimes I'm just overwhelmed to even start. Find something simple to do. Find something that you like better than something else. If you're like me, once I get started, then I'm good to go. And sometimes it's hard for me to stop. In fact, Mark said, "You have been a fiend on that quilt this week." And I said, I had a purpose, I had excitement, and you just let me run with it. And I did, So let's see. Oh, more people here. Yay. So Polly is here. Oh, Diana B is here again. I got some of Diana's pictures to show you for show and tell. So as I said before, ladies, today is Marbling Day. Now, I know I was going to show you my Jenny Border fabric, the borders, and the kits. I will now push that to next week because otherwise we'd be here all day. So I will do my Jenny Buyer next week because I've got fabric that dates back over 20 years from Jenny Buyer and kits that date back over 20 years. So I can't wait to share that with you. All righty. So now, one of the things I did last night that was so exciting is I took, do you remember these wooden beads that I took and painted white and then took a blue fine line marker and colored them to look like porcelain beads? When I put the triple thick sealer on them, they turned into what looked like real porcelain. I don't know if you can see the shine, but they're beautiful. I got so excited until I looked over about a half an hour after I put the first coat on and noticed some of them did this. Let me see if I can find a white paper. There's a little problem that happened. Do you see it now? What happened is that everywhere I went over them with a white paint pen to correct any little messes or whatever. And then when I put the sealer on, wherever I put the white touch-up pen paint, it turned pink. So, unfortunately, some of my prettiest, like this one, This was so beautiful. In fact, let me see if I can. I mean, the colors are so pretty. But unfortunately, do you see the pink on it? And that broke my heart because these are gorgeous. But luckily, I have plenty more, and I'll just redo those. But I sit in the evening, and sometimes I'll use a pencil to draw out the pattern. Sometimes if I'm feeling very creative, I will just take the marker and just go with the design. These have given me such joy. And now, after just one coat, seeing them look just like porcelain beads, I can't wait until I do a couple more coats on them. Then I will make sure that I don't put white touch-up paint that'll turn pink. I'll redo them, make a necklace, and that should be wonderful. So, inexpensive. The beads were $5 on something. I just sit around with a little white paint and some markers that I've had for years. What fun. So, anyway, you have, whoops. But it's really the finish made all the difference. You know, on porcelain beads, it has a little translucence and the color gets real soft, and that's exactly what it did. So I can't wait to redo them. All right, so here is the fabric I got from Pineapple Fabrics. This first one is by Nick Gustafson for Timeless Treasures. Look at this. You know me, I love color. And the faces on these geckos is too cute. So I just had to get a yard of it. You know, when fabric reaches out and says, hey, buy me, well, fabric must be obeyed. So, but luckily it's just 3 yards, you know, one of each design. Are you ready? Look at this fabric. Is this unbelievable? Is this just unbelievable? You know what? This is a good... Okay. No, it's the right length. It just seemed awfully generous, you know. But isn't that beautiful? And I love peacocks. I love hearts. I love rainbows. You know, I love fabric too. I love the feel of it. And you know, the nicest thing about Pineapple Fabrics is they carry really high quality fabric. All name brand. Oh, let me find, I'm sorry. I usually like to tell you what the fabric is. This one is Glow. Glow by Chong Huang for Timeless Treasures. Love it, love it. Beautiful design, beautiful artist. Okay, this fabric is Timeless Treasures again, but I don't think this has a specific designer. But look at this. I think my grandbabies would love this in a quilt. So that's what I'm thinking. Or I really, when I saw it, thought, oh, my grandsons who are little. And then I thought, but it's also good when you need a focused fabric to pull colors together. So that was my purchase this week. I think I showed great restraint. It's easy to be restrained when you just have a crown put on, because, boy, that's expensive. And just to show you again, I made a pattern up for the Indigo Quilt. If any of you would like a free copy of this pattern, I made it up in my EQ8, and I would be very happy to shoot you this pattern by email, because I put it on there, designed it, and so I can give it to you for free. Oh, your crown is on Thursday. And I got to tell you, I was whining last week about having to have a crown done. I'm so ashamed. Let me I know what's wrong. There's too much light coming in this window. Okay. Let me drop this shade down. It is bright and sunny. Okay, yay. And since I'm up, let me see if I can do this without falling and knocking everything over. I thought I would show you a little more of this quilt. See, it is huge, but it is lovely. Sorry, doggy. She jumped up like, oh my gosh, you're going to step on me. And, but it's a wonderful quilt. And I have the pattern done in 12-inch, 15, 16, and maybe even 18 blocks. But it went together so easily. I told people on Thursday night, there is something about doing a simple, traditional pattern that's just magic. My pink is almost gone, so I enjoy that. That's our Jody pink. Jody's here. My Jody pink is almost gone, so hopefully it means she's almost going to be well, and we're crossing our fingers for her. So, and I did check on our groups IO, and both pages, both of the things that Jody sent for instructions are on where it says Jody's information for pet portraits. So just check both of my posts on there. One you have to open, one is kind of already open. But if you any further problems, give me a holler and I will be glad to send it to you. The important thing is to share that information. So, okay. So as I said, he wants 2 layers of polyester because he said, I'm going to want to use this for winter too. And white border. I can't wait. So next week, I'm going to show you how to make binding. And it won't be biased. It's just straight binding. But sewing the strips, instead of sewing them flat and having a big bulky thing, I'm going to show you the correct way of sewing them at an angle, which distributes the bulk, makes a nicer looking quilt. I want everything about this quilt to be the best. So I can't believe, girls, I got this whole top put together, 30 blocks worth. It was so funny because I said, I was doing my last row of it, and I said, I'm missing a block. And then I remembered I had tucked one, put one on the rolling design wall down here so y'all could see it last week's show. And I, came down and got my block. But, and to tell you real quick about the crown, I was so worried. I was whining last week about having to get that crown. That was the easiest thing. There was absolutely no pain, no discomfort. The sound wasn't all that bad. I had nothing to complain about or angst over. They made the crown in-house. So they said, well, if you don't mind waiting a little while, we'll make it and we can go ahead and put it in and have you all done. It was so nice and cool in there. And I had those sunglasses they give you, when they work on your tooth. I just laid back. I said, I'd just like to take a rest. Because I had been up the night before to almost 4 a.m. because I had worked myself up about this crown. It was so easy. Not one bit of pain. I mean, come on, Deb. That was way too easy. So, as I said, the only pain was in paying for it. So, and it's worth it to have a healthy, non-hurting tooth. Thank you. So, okay. I'll go ahead and give a little shout out that my dentist is Ronaldo Smiles. And they're wonderful. They're wonderful here. And okay. So now, before we move on to the marbling, that's the star of the show today. I cannot wait. But before we move on to that, I want to tell you, we're going to be starting a new project. And it's something for fall, and it's going to be easy. And I want it to be a mystery. Because, I've told you that mystery quilts mystery quilt making is a wonderful way to improve your skills. If you're like me, we're so focused on the final project that sometimes we rush the procedure and we don't take the time with certain skill sets. And the project I'm going to do with you has a lot of half square triangles. And so next week, I'm going to give you a little tutorial on the half square triangles. They're nothing to worry about. And so what I'll do is I'll give you a materials list. It's going to be a small, enjoyable, easy to do project. And but it's going to be a mystery as to what the final outcome is. And just go to your stash and start pulling out fall colors. Greens, oranges, reds, couple browns, yellows. Pull out those. You don't need much, just scraps. And we'll work on that. So, exactly. And as long as you like the fabrics you're putting in it, only one time have I made a mystery that I didn't like. And you know what? I gave it away, so I don't know where it is. I said, somebody want to finish this? I don't. But I didn't pick fabrics I liked. I picked fabrics that I thought I should. But just anything bright and colorful in fall colors, okay? You just need a few scraps, and I will start work on that next week. Okay, but yeah, mystery quilts have you focus on each step. You're given the cutting instructions, you just focus on that. Then you're given the first sewing instruction, you focus on that. And it's really nice because it lets you slow down and learn each step of the way and practice each step to get it right. So, oh yes, Kay Fassett, he is amazing. And speaking of Kay Fassett, because Polly sent pictures of her pattern picture, what it's going to look like, and the fabrics during our show and tell, we get to see that. All right, well, maybe let's do show and tell, and then we'll come back and do our marbling. That way, I won't have a mess on my hands or anything else. So let me turn out this light. This window is so bright. I shouldn't complain. I'm so glad that being a basement, it has, to be a basement, it's nice. It has an all glass door and 2 windows right here. So it doesn't feel like a basement when you're in it. But boy, that is bright. All right, let me turn things around, get ready to show you. We'll do our show and tell. You know, I just realized something. Hold on, guys. Just one quick moment. And let me see. Okay, hold on. I forgot to pull together my pictures. Darn it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you something else. Friday night, Mark went to get some dinner because we always have fast food Friday. And Mark went to get that from the store, and a storm came up just as he left. And I mean, it was quite a storm. And as soon as let me see, today is August 7th. Okay. As soon as he got home, the power went out. And we were without power all evening. That wasn't fun, but what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? But I'm just grabbing a couple little things real quick here. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. I want to grab this one too. I've got some cute little things, and I was so busy doing everybody else's. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let me come back one quick second. I'm so sorry about this, but I totally forgot, and I wanted to share these. They're so cute. Whoops. It might be. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll show them to you right here. Okay. Here we go. So, Friday night, Mark went to get our fast food Friday. He came home. Boom. Power out. And I could tell by the way it went out that, now here is little Maisie. She was barking at the shadows. She did not like those shadows. And here's Mark. And I had gotten the condiments out. He had to get a little flashlight. We had little tea light candles here. And then here I am. And there is a flashlight leaning on the back of the couch. Whoop, there's Mark's Indigo Quilt. So that's how we spent Friday night. And you know what? We actually had fun. Now, Katie went to pick up her son from Marine. He's been getting to come home twice a month. I said, oh, grab a picture of him. So, and then my granddaughter, Kylie, at her job at Walgreens. So she had to sneak it because, you know, they're teenagers. But the neatest thing of all was that Mark and I pulled out a pack of cards and played cards for like 2 hours. It was so much fun. And, you know, you get so used to just sitting at the TV, you're not looking at each other. I mean, how happy was I? Here is a picture of Mark's quilt hanging in the living room. You can see there, it's a big one. Okay. And here are my beads before they turn pink. Very disappointed about that. And then here they were before they turned pink when they had the first coat of finish on them last night. Before they turned pink. So is that, let me see now. I'll close this. Close this. Close this. Oh my goodness, so many things. But okay, now let me pull up the pictures. And just to finish mine so we can move on to y'all's amazing things. Here is my granddaughter, Charlie, with her driver's license. As you can tell, she's very, very excited. Then they took their mom's old car, which is now theirs, the two teenagers, and look at, she decorated it with Klingon flowers. And supposedly they put in some floral seat cushions. But there she goes off her first morning driving all by herself. So it's exciting, but it's in a way, you know, that's the beginning of her independence. So now let's go see what y'all have sent in. I still have a couple of Alexis's wonderful photos of her work. And this is a character she invented. And her embroidery and beadwork is extraordinary. So tidy, organized, but still giving a feeling of movement. I mean, it's just really, really neat. And it shows it doesn't matter what your subject is. Your subject can be so varied. It is the work and the technical skills that you give to a project that can give you joy as well as the viewer. So that's wonderful, Alexis. Now, let's see. Debbie, I had to leave this one up because that is just so beautiful. And little things that strike me. Fabric choices, the broderie purse form of cutting out these K-facet fabrics and the shapes, cutting out these fish. But look at things like using this fabric with the dots, which look like bubbles, and then the quilting, the kind of wavy quilting that emulates some of these seaweed type shapes she's cut and sewed on. That is just a fabulous quilt. I love that. And it makes you smile. And you know what? That's one of the best things that quilts can do. Make you smile, make you think, make you feel like you're part of the celebration. Uh-oh. I'm missing some of... No, maybe it wasn't. Okay, I know what it was. Never mind. Yes, these are Diana B's. Now, I've got a cool story that she could even tell you more. This quilt she had been working on, she wasn't happy with it. She threw it in the trash. Luckily, she pulled it back out and finished it, and it won second place in a quilt show. Is that amazing? So, sometimes... if you must throw it in the trash can, think about it a couple days first, because that is just too beautiful. It would be terrible to lose that. Then look at this. Isn't this wonderful? Her granddaughter and the dog looking little minnows here in the water. That is just, and look how the reflection of the trees. What a beautiful job, Diana. Gosh, you're so talented. Then here, for all you Star Wars lovers, she made this quilt for her son. Love that. Look at this kitty. I think it was, did she say it was her sister's or her friend's cat that had passed at age 20? And look at the little heart-shaped nose. And the thread painting is amazing. Look at all of that. So... really beautiful work, and I know that's a comfort. Look at this wonderful sunset, sailing in the sunset. I love the way she did the figure in silhouette, which it would be behind, because it's, this bright sun is behind it, and he is behind that sail. I love all the stitching. It really adds to the movement and the feeling. Look at that. That is phenomenal. The way that she got this so bright is perfect. Perfect. So way to go. Thank you, Diana. Please send us more. We love them. All of those quilts give us such good ideas. And Miss Jody when Miss Jody feels up to it, she will continue this amazing project. 6 different colors used in that hand. And doesn't it just feels like it's moving right out towards you. Just love that. She's so talented. So talented. Okay. Now let's see. Kathy Klein. Kathy, I couldn't bear to take this out yet. So here is, we were talking about the Alex Anderson Neutral Blooms quilt that several of us are working on. She wanted to share that this quilt was from Alex Anderson's earlier Neutrals book. And isn't that lovely? That's great. And I learned a lot working with neutrals. As you know, my favorite colors are bright and bold, but I really enjoyed working on that neutral quilt. Then here's Miss Linda McCullum. She is working on a collage art piece, and she's already been putting different shapes and different fabrics to create a picture, and she's done some ink tints work with painting the fabric. So she just makes beautiful works of art. Then Miss Mary. Now, before I showed you the fabric Miss Mary painted, here it is now cut up and used in this quilt. And it makes a wonderful composition. Then she did, remember about a month ago, we did the balloon quilt. And look at this. And the way she stuffed them, some trapunto work is amazing. So way to go, Miss Mary. I love your work. And one of the things I admire the most of Miss Mary, she just jumps in with both feet. Bless her heart. I just love it. And then here's her kitty, and she's getting up the bravery to do a pet portrait of her kitty. And we had recommended that she just block the color, the light and dark, and then use thread sketching to draw in whiskers and to do the little hair, to make it easy. You cannot cut up fabric that tiny, but thread painting will make that kitty come to life. So I can't wait to see her progress because she is bold. She just tries everything. Then we were all talking about last week about granny squares. And so I bet you Miss Marcia just whipped this right up. She is an amazing crocheter. And that is so cute. I love that. So we appreciate all forms of art, gardening, everything. So whatever you'd like to share in your life that makes you happy, we would love to see it. Miss Polly, okay, she's doing, right now, I think she's doing the most exciting project. She took some time off because she just got burnt out, which happens from time to time. She took some time off, and look at what she has decided now that she's going to tackle. And it's a wonderful cave facet quilt. And isn't that, that is amazing. And we're lucky that she sent us photos of the fabrics that were included. And I hope it's coming along okay. And she was asking me a question about these zigzags that reminded me of rickrack. Should she cut them so that they're as horizontal as they can be, or does it matter? And I don't know. I'm curious to see what she does, but I told her I kind of thought that it would bother her eye if she didn't make sure that they were as horizontal as they could be. But who knows? I can't wait to see. She considers herself a new quilter, but she's a very talented quilter. And these, can't go wrong with cave facet, except that it's going to keep her busy. That's going to keep her busy. So we can't wait to see how this turns out. But what phenomenal fabrics. And make sure to keep your door closed, because if not, I might come get this one right there. That's the bee's knees. So, all right, let's see. Now, let's see. Oh, this is our Cheryl. Love this. Okay, let's see what else. We're just loving Kansas this week. All right, let's see what SJ from England, she got through the 106-degree temperatures, so that was a good thing. She's been working on our wonderful Lisa Capon quilts here on YouTube and Facebook. She's been working on Lisa Capon's latest project, which is a Quilt As You Go sampler. And Lisa does such great work with her designs. And look at this cutie. This is wonderful. Look at that. Great satin stitching too. Way to go, SJ. Okay. Here, then we've got, look at this. Is that the cutest? Love. Good job with the applique and then using decorative stitches on your machine to do the quilting for you and to add a lot of interest. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. Here it's almost put together. Let me bring it up a little bit. Look at that. And I loved her gray sashing. Look at the roof design. Isn't that the cutest? I love them all. They are just wonderful. I know Lisa is going to be so tickled that you have taken on her project. Now this, she started a crochet Afghan and she wanted cool colors because it's been such a hot summer. In fact, she said they're having a drought. So she picked beautiful robin's egg blue. I forgot what she called this other color, but trying to pick cool colors that will give her eye a rest during all this heat and drought. Another picture of the blocks. And yeah, I guess they must be the same. So thank you, SJ. Thank you for sending new pictures this week. We love them. I think that's it for this week. But I could really use some more pictures of your work. We love seeing it. Let me try to turn this. I don't know why it's not turning right now. Oh, because I had it where it couldn't turn. So please feel free to send us pictures of your work. Now, it's time for marbling. So, tighten your seatbelt. Return your seats to the upright position because we're going to have some fun. All right, here we go. Let's see. I've got to get my mats set up and my towels. And yay. Okay. I'm going to pull all this close to me. Yeah, I was starting all my stuff today and then it said, oh, well, you know, you need to make up your thickener the day before. I'm like, what? And I happened to go on the internet to, let me grab all my stuff. I happened to go onto the internet to just look over instructions again and get amounts and all of that. And yeah, it said, oh, I saw this setup by putting your light mat under this container with the thickener. And I used a combination of sodium alginate, and then I used some carrageenan that came in the jacquard kit. So let me get I got my paper towels. Let me make sure I've got this. I've got the cardboard under this container to make sure it's putting no pressure on my light box. Container here. I've got my trash can for cleaning up. I'll show you all the different things I've got. Okay. All right. So here is, I found a clear container. I saw somebody else put their light board underneath, so it really helps you see what I'm doing on the surface. Then I went and got I have a pack of newsprint, so I cut these strips of paper because when I want to clean excess dye off of the water, I will just take and run this along the edge and it will pick up the excess dye. Then I wanted to make some rakes. These are called rakes. Oops, and you know what? I gotta bring something down so I can see y'all. Let me pull my laptop a little closer. Yes, I'm doing. Oh, in fact, here's Carol. Carol, we're going to do some magic today. And I wanted to show Jody that I put a tablecloth over my ironing board to keep it clean because you never know where the mess is going to go. But anyway, let me bring this back up and down. I want you to be able to see. Oh, Doris Chan, that's wonderful. Okay, so here we go. I think, let me tilt it down a little bit more. Okay. So now you see this. Let me see. Yeah, a little light. There we go. All right, so I've got my fabric. I soaked my fabric in alum, and it's the food grade, so hopefully, whoops, it's still going to work. I saw that start to happen. Oh, no. And you soak it in alum, then you wring it out, then you dry it, and you press it, okay? Then I've got paper towels, and like I said, the newsprint that we can take and run it across to clean the ink off. Let me turn this light off. This is the one problem. Okay, there we go. Let me turn that off so it doesn't get in the way right now of you seeing the things I want to show you. So what I've got are 3 of these aluminum pans that I can lay the fabric on as I bring it out of the bath. I can lay the fabric on. Normally, if I wasn't doing this as a show, I would have a big bucket here to rinse the fabric as soon as it came out, but I don't have room for all that right now. So here we go. I have one of these hair picks that I've taken every other comb thing out of that I can draw designs. Along the same vein, I made myself these rakes. These are called rakes. And what I would do is when I put the paint on, then I run this through. Whoops. That just fell in. Okay. I'm going to need another one. What did I do with those? Aha. Luckily, I kept spares. So let me push this back down in this. I just took foam core board, cut it into a strip, then took and put toothpicks on here so that I can then do the raking of the colors to make the marbling. So it's a longer version of this. And I made 2, this one with wider space, little pieces of wood. Now, if you were going to do this professionally, then I would have this be wood and these be nails. But just for today, I think that will do fine. All right, so then I made a bunch of these, and I will think about dropping carefully, little dots. Whoops. Now, how I should have known that was going to happen. But I have a towel. I told Mark, you should see the floor. I've got it covered in old towels. Because I said, I have a feeling it's going to be a mess. Okay. All right. So I've got these because they do a great job. In fact, I've got these bowls so I can put a little paint in there, then dip this in, and then flick it onto the thickener. So if you can see, this is a thickener. I'm hoping it's thick enough. I think it should be. And I took a whisk and whisked and whisked. And in fact, I'm going to do one more whisking just to make sure that the last few lumps, hopefully, the reason normally you would do this the day before is because it takes a long time for the carrageenan and the sodium alginate to fully dissolve and absorb all the water. And I don't want to put a lot of bubbles in the water right now, but just make sure that, okay. There are a few little dots of undissolved carrageenan, but not bad at all. Okay. And you need a thickener in the water because if you don't have a thickener, the paint would just sink right to the bottom. Okay? Now, the thickeners aren't cheap, but they're not horribly expensive. But if you wanted to keep this, I would say pour it into a jug you can close, keep it in your refrigerator, because after a few days, this will start going moldy. I've got a paint brush that I can use to stir things around and create designs. And then I have Jacquard marbling paints. I thought, let's go ahead and get the marbling paints, because last time I had a little bit of trouble getting all of this to work right, and I wanted to guarantee as much success as I could. So let's now that I showed you all the different things that I've got here, let's go ahead and start the process. One thing I want to tell you is the color that you first put on. If you're going to add this color, it should be one of the first that you put on. And because this black does a really good job of spreading. So, and be careful, don't squirt it, just kind of barely let the drops come out. But see how that black really spreads? So if you were to put it on top of other colors, then it would probably make them spread more than you were planning on. Okay? Then, now white, I think you put on last. All right, so here we go. Whoops, let me make sure I've shaken. Oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so you can make, like you can do something like that, or you can go inside the black. And I'm going to put a good amount of this paint because I want it to really be strong on. I want it to have a lot of color and be really strong. I'm going to put a little bit more black because I like. Now, don't put more than a dot, because over here I put several dots, and unfortunately it sank. And you don't want the paint, if you can help it, you don't want it to sink because it'll muddy up the thickener. So let me try this again. Put a dot, one dot's enough per area. Now you can put plenty of dots in here, but if you notice the paint starting to drip down below the thickener, then you need to, it's got plenty of paint, don't add any more. Because if you add too much paint to this, the thickener can only hold up so much paint. So you don't want to overwhelm it. So it's kind of take your time, get it. Take the time. You don't want to take too long because you don't want it to settle, but you want to take long enough to get the colors and the design the way you want. All right. All right. Now let's put some blue. Whoops. One dot, Deb. Whoops. See, and soon that second dot merged with the first and dropped right down to the bottom. I think my thickener could be a little thicker. So, okay. I'm just doing all the colors right now. And I see where it's not moving much. So let's see. Different colors spread at a different rate, or some not at all. Now, one thing they said you can do is to Oops, okay. What I'm going to do is show you how to use these little broom handle things. And real quick, let me put some white. Oh, that spread nicely. When I'm in too big of a hurry, 2 blops will come out, and I only want 1. And you might think, well, those colors don't do anything for me, but you'll be surprised when you start mixing things around. All right, so I'm going to take this little broom handle, dip it in the paint, and then sprinkle it on. And you probably can't see that yet, but it will give a really cool effect. Okay. You can start to see it now because it's spreading out. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, oh no, it went over on the fabric. Ah! Okay, I'm going to take the paintbrush and do a little pulling to just get the fabrics the colors to start moving. That is cool. I like that, but I think I'd like it to be a little bit more spread out. So I'm going to come in here with the rake, and I'm going to pull it this way, and then back this way, and then I'm going to pull it this way and this way. Now, what I'm worried about, let me put this over on that pan so I'm going to move this fabric out of the way. It's right in the way of. I'm worried that this doesn't have that much color, but I don't want to wait too long because it's going to sink. So what I do now is I hold the opposite corners of the fabric, or what I'm going to do with this one, since it's long and skinny. Okay, and then this. Okay. So this is not going to have a whole lot of intense color, but I think, and just making sure all the air is out so that it has contact with the color. All right. And then what I'm going to do is take it out, carefully letting the carrageenan go back into the water. Okay. Let me get my tray here. You don't want to let the fabric fold back on itself because you don't want the colors to get muddied. So you want to pull it out, lay it on a pan. Now, if I could rinse it off, you would see the pattern more. But that's a little hard for me to do in here right now, so I would love to be able to show you that all rinsed off, but Okay, so now what we're going to do, I know now to add more dots of color. I take this newsprint and I just drag it along the surface and it cleans up the excess. Now you don't have to clean up the excess ink, but if you don't want it to get muddy, but it would be good if this thickener was thick enough. By tomorrow, I'll probably be able, I'll keep this till tomorrow. It'll still be good. And by tomorrow, it'll be thick enough that I'll get some really good prints. But they did say, I didn't read it correctly, and it said, best if made the day before. Oops. All right, so I'm going to go back to the black. I like having black in because it forms outlines for the other colors and makes them stand out. But you can see where some of the paints dripped right down to the bottom. So I'm being careful not, see how I'm adding more dots, but I'm being careful not to stir up the thickener. Let those things just stay down there. All right. Let me see. I might, on a couple of these, try a little bit of white to see what happens. Wow, that really spreads good. Okay. And you don't hold the paint close to the surface. Don't stick it in it, but hold it close because, you know, you don't want to like squirt it down because then it will fall to the bottom too. All right, I'm going to mix some paint for me to, I'm going to mix some orange because blue and orange are wonderful complementary colors. All right. Then I'm going to use this little thing, mix the colors good. I think I need a little more yellow, but you can use these paints right out of the bottle, or you can mix them and add them. And that's what I'm going to do with this. Like I'm going to want to get some green, so I'm going to have to mix some of these. All right. And this kit was from Jacquard. And they are so good with dyes and, oh, neat. Look at that. That's really cool. And right now, I don't really have a specific thing in mind. I'm just having fun with it. And then I'll take some of the leftover and just drop it in. I don't want to waste any of this wonderful paint. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. How are you, hon? One thing I love about getting this paint kit is they do have white, and that is really neat. So here's the white. I'm going to put some more white in because I love how it kind of holds up the other colors you put on top. And don't be in too big of a hurry, but don't take too long because you don't want the paints to all through. Okay, now I'll put some. Let's see if I can get enough paint on the surface here so that I can make a design without combing it. I know that it says marbling, but marbling, it doesn't have to be everything be, busy combed. It can just be different swirling designs that you made. And one of the YouTube videos that I saw about this was amazing. The woman made like scenery on the water. She made amazing scenery like waves and things. So, okay, there's that. Then let me get this and do some pulling through. All right, I need another color. I think I need a little bit of yellow in this. Yes, exactly. But marbling it, yeah, it doesn't have to be that tight little marble. It can be a looser one. It's just the process of floating paints and capturing it on paper or fabric. And it gives you the ability to create really fascinating designs. Just being light and gentle, but moving it. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to try this on some fabric. And it's best to use small pieces of fabric, fat quarters or so. Ooh, now this is a little longer. I'm still going to do it. This is a little longer than, now, you notice the way I'm not really dipping it in the correct way, because you want it, whatever first touches the water, that's the pattern it's going to pick up. But this fabric is a little floppy and I'm having a little hard time. Then you want to make sure that all the air is out. A woman today called this effleurage. You don't want to push it under the water, but you want to make sure all the air bubbles, because air bubbles will keep the fabric. It will keep it from absorbing the paint on the surface. And I'm pulling it slowly just to let the carrageenan stay in the pan. Oh, this is awesome. Let me see if you can see some of this. Isn't this beautiful? Huh. Pardon me, I guess there's a weather notice. Look at that. Let me try to lay this smoothly out. This is where I wish I had a bucket. But this is working so much better this time than last times. Okay, now I'm going to clean the surface. That was, I think, my cell phone giving me that weather alert. I warned Mark, be careful going out, because they had said there was a chance. See how this cleans it up? Newsprint, newspaper, paper toweling. Although you don't want it to absorb the water, you just want it to lift the ink off the batch. Some people use white paper because the part that it picks up, they like the color that it picks up. Okay. All right, that's good. Let me get another paper towel. Now, so I've done purples and yellows and blacks. Let me see. I want some greens. So I'm going to mix the paints in a bowl. Okay. I'll mix some blue and yellow. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Now, I'm going to pick up a new little bristle thing because, you know, if you add, like if you take this was blue and yellow, and if you add red to this, you'll end up with brown. So now, let's see. Oh, this is disappearing. I might have to put it in bigger dots. Okay. Let me come in here with, I think it's all, for me, I think I need to keep coming in with black and white to have the other colors stay noticeable. The one thing is, I do like that this paint is of a quality that it doesn't mix while it's on the, it doesn't mix while it's on the surface of the thickener. And I'm going to go grab something. I'll be right back. I just had an idea for mixing the color in a better way. I'll be right back. And I thought I would show you a lot of good colors. I have these bottles, so what I need to do is let me mix the colors in the bottle. And that way I can control how it goes on. So I want to make some green. So okay, now I have green. Now let's try this. That's much better. Then I want to make some pink, so I'm going to mix some red with some white. Okay. All right. Now let's see how this will do. All right, so pink. Whoops. Oh, that's a pretty pink. Okay, I like that. So it is pretty easy to mix these colors. Okay, and then I've been doing so much purple. Let me do a little bit more white and then some yellow. I don't want everything to start looking the same. Okay. Okay, and then how about Nadine? I'm so tickled that you're getting to be on here and chatting, hon. Okay, now I'm going to take this paintbrush and do some swirls. I'm not going to marble this one as tightly as the other two. So just some nice big swirls. Let's see how this comes out. Now, get a good sized piece of fabric here. Try to hold the opposite corners and lay it in, although my fabric tends to want to be a little bit, if I had a helper, it would help. Oh, pretty. Pretty. I love the white paint in this because it really helps set off. Whoops, don't do that. I just want to gently get the air bubbles out. Okay. All right. And you don't have to let it sit too long because it's kind of an instant thing. And it's good to let it rub the excess carrageenan off of it, because if it doesn't, you'll waste too much of your thickener. Okay. Oops. I didn't want to do that, but hopefully it's stable enough. Okay. Now, let me show you, you know how important, for me, it'd probably be easier to use shorter pieces of fabric. But you know how I tell you, you're supposed to lay it all down at once? When I get this white line, that was a bubble. That was air trapped under. But that's pretty wool. The green looks a little dirty in it. So, all right. So now let me clean this out. Actually, that hardly had any color on it. The color is sunk down to the bottom. But that fabric got just about all the paint that I put on there. So that's cool. All right. I've done yellow and pink. I think I want to make some lighter purple. Whoops. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is come in here with the purple and some white. Okay. I got some good amount of purple, some white, and make something a little bit more pastel-like. Okay. I'll put the lid on this. Okay. And then I want to, I've got pink. I'm going to make a teal by, in this little bit of left of green, I'm going to put blue. I'm going to put a less amount of yellow. And I'm going to put some white. Okay. Ah, this will be nice. All right. Let me see. Little touch more blue. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. And a little more white. Ah, pretty color though. Okay. So now I'll come back in again with my black. I really like, hi, Michelle. Hi, sweetie. Doing a redo of the marbling, trying to get, it really is making a difference having the jacquard marbling kit, and I can tell it's my fabric's going to work better because I soaked it in alum. So that is important. I can tell you too, for me, this is not as much fun as indigo dyeing. So this is not something that Deb is going to say, ooh, this is going to be my new hobby. Nah. I'm doing this just to have some marbled fabric and to show y'all, but this is too tedious. I don't like fussy work. Okay. But I do love that pastel blue that came out. And I love how the white floats so beautifully. Okay. Now I'm going to take some pink. All right. Then I think I'll get some of my lavender. Ooh. All right. I like that it's more of a lavender instead of the harsher purple. Now some teal. Okay. And then some yellow. All right. Now I think I'll do a comb of this one. So I'm going to pull it this way. Back. And then across. And then across. Oops. Okay. I'm going to do this in half. Okay, here we go. Now, get that thread. All right. So you hold it. You hold it, and boy, it's easier said than done trying to get that fabric to lay. And right where it went in, see, I'm going to have a line here. It's really important to get it down without any air under it. I apologize about that. Okay. All right. But see that line that I got in there? So that's something that if I were to continue doing this, I have to work on not having that happen. Now I think instead of wasting some of this, I think I'm going to put a little more, just a little more color, and drag this fabric around to clean it. Let's see what happens. Okay. Since it's just a little tiny scrap anyway, let's see what it picks up. Well, I'm not sure that was a success. It's a little bit of a muddy mess. It's a muddy mess. Okay, let me scrape it along the edge here to get off the excess carrageenan. Well, that's why I do this stuff before you so that you can go, yeah, don't do what Deb did right there. It just kind of, let me see. It might wash off a little bit better, but it's just kind of, although it looked like stone. Right, okay. Let me get my papers to clean this off. Maybe we'll have time to do one or two more. I think in some ways I like shaving cream marbling better than this because it doesn't sink. It doesn't get as muddy in a way. Well, but I guess after you do it a few times, yeah, it's pretty muddy. There's not a good way to clean it like this paper method here. You notice I used a top. I'm wearing a top with lots of colors and black in it. So if I get it on me, you won't be able to tell. All right. Dragging the paper across the surface really works. All right. So this is probably our last one. So let's see. Anybody have some suggestions? Hi, Jeannie. How wonderful to see you, hon. I think I'm going to try to put a lot of color in this. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to try to be a little faster. It's like playing, isn't it? Like making mud pies. And if you enjoy this, feel free to subscribe and click like and let your friends know. Maybe they would like it too. All right. Now, more of this teal. And I'm going to remember that the paint that was on the water in the middle was really pretty. So I'm going to put that yellow really stuck to the fabric. It was outside of these bubbles. So I'm going to put more paint right in the water. But thank you for sticking with me while I do this. I do it to try to show you and that, you know, maybe you'll decide it's not for you or it is for you, whatever you decide. And that I like being able to show you as many different techniques as possible. And Michelle, I made a king-size quilt for Mark. You would be so proud of me. I've never made anything that big before. I'm very excited. All right. I think I like mixing it with the paintbrush handle. So I think I'm going to come in and do this. Okay. Oh, and she did some of these, which were really pretty. Just kind of make a little swirl. Oh, that's kind of neat. All right, let me grab another piece of fabric. I'm trying to grab some of the smaller pieces so that I can do a better job of not getting oxygen air under the fabric. Quickly, pushing it down, pushing it down. I think this one's going to be better, guys. I think it will. So she called that effleurage. Now, I know that I've done effleurage when you're trying to clear fluids out of your ear. So, all right. I think this one's going to be a good one. Oh, boy, look. That's pretty cool. Lots of good colors. Okay. Still got some lines with, still got some lines from air being in it. And some of those colors started looking brownish. So I'm going to be careful. I'll do one more and I'll be careful to try not to have greens and yellows near reds too much. Okay. One more little paper. Especially, I don't really pay attention down this end, and since I have to drag it out, I want to get any of that ucky mixed color out. Okay, so I want to stay, I still, maybe I won't do quite as much black. I think that black tended to make it a little dark. All right. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to do mostly primary colors. Just red, yellow, blue. Okay, let me put some yellow. Whoops, didn't mean to dip it in. Okay, let me try blue. Since blue is my favorite color, I'll do more blue. I love blue. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. This one, I'm going to go out with a bang of color. How about that? Okay. Now I think I will use a rake that's not quite as closely spaced. And I'm going to drag it down this way and drag it back this way. Drag it across and across. All right. I might just put a couple little. All right. Now let's see how this is going to work. Mark came home, so the dogs, of course, have got to bark. But it is exciting when Dad comes home. Shh, hush, hush. Let me just do a little swirls for that blue that I just put on there. All right, let's see what this does. I tried to do a better job of laying that on. We'll see. Then, I want to capture down here, so I'm going to put this down here. Let's see what we got. Okay, all touching. All right. Oh my goodness. Boy, you just don't ever know. I would have thought this would have come out looking red, white, and blue, but oh my goodness. It has a little bit of everything in it. Hold on just a second. Let me put it in here. It's the brightest one so far, though. Look at this one. It's got some beautiful coloring. And what I'll do is after I rinse these, wash them, and iron them, I'll show them to you next week. And then here is the piece that did the other end. That's so cool. Now I'm going to drag it over. You would think that my front of my shirt would be getting really messy, but the thickener is so thick that nothing falls on me. It just is oozing off the fabric. And so here is this fabric that just cleaned up the other end. All right. I think, let me just quickly get the excess off before it sinks. And I might try to play with this a little more after I say goodbye to you guys. Because maybe if I take a little more time, I can get some colors just the way I want them. All right. Wow, that was interesting, but I can definitely tell it's going to be more successful than last time. So the alum, really important, and having the real thing from Jacquard really, really helped. So thank you. Let me show you the little kit. It's marbling kit. I got it off Amazon. Marbling kit by Jacquard. I don't think it was that expensive. So, but that, it definitely made it worth it. It has the alum in it. It has the carrageenan in it and the little paints. If anything that I would request of them is to put more varied colors in it, because you can mix them, but you know, sometimes to get a really pretty color, it's better to have the factory mix it than for us to mix it. Any question? Night, night, Nadine, honey. It was so good seeing you. Yes, I was going wild. Oh, Michelle, if Michelle's still around, I want her to see my Indigo quilt. All done, king size. So soon as the backing comes in this week, I'm popping it on the frame, and I'm going to have such fun. I do miss when I don't do machine quilting for a while. Any questions? Anything that, oh, SJ is here. Wow, that's wonderful. Yay, SJ. So it was an interesting day, and we've got some really pretty fabrics, and we'll see how it goes. You know what? I might just get some paper, and although, you know what? You have to treat the paper with alum. I didn't do that. That would be a lot of work. But we got some interesting combinations. I personally would have to work with smaller pieces of fabric because it's so hard to lay it in without getting air under it. But I hope you enjoyed it. At least it maybe gave you a glimpse of whether it's your thing or not. And if that did, then it was worth it. So for me, I'm going to go back to indigo dyeing. I am obsessed with that. Let me tell you, I just love indigo dyeing so much. So, and you know what? At this age, it's nice to get excited about something. So, Miss Jody, we hope you're doing okay. I know you're at a kind of tough place in your treatment, but oh my gosh, hon, we just love you so much, and we're all rooting for you. You know, you can see the finish line in the distance. Thank goodness, because 3-4 months ago, it was pretty scary. So, honey, just do your best because we need you here. We need you here with us. We need you to help teach about the pet thing. And don't forget, so next week we've got our mystery on Sunday. On Thursday, we're starting our wacky self-portraits where I'm challenging you to put as many artifacts, as many embellishments, whatever way you can make it, give hints about who made this and all the things that you love, even some you don't. Put them on this self-portrait. We'll start it Thursday night. So I've asked people to write a list of all the things they can think of that they love best. And maybe it's fudgesicles. Put a fudgesicle on your self-portrait. Work it into the hair, whatever, your outfit. Just think of creative little ways. You can actually take colored pencils or crayons and draw on the fabric the little thing that you want. But I want to see how many things you can come up with that put in there that represent you. Okay, guys? Oh, let me see. When you had the drops of green go into the water, it looked like peacock feathers. It did. Yes, it does. And I wish I could get it to come out as pretty as I think of it in my mind. But, it's not I don't think it's one of my fortes. But it was fun. And I think I've got some fascinating fabric I'll have to use. Some special maybe I can use it in my self-portrait. We'll see. All right, everybody. Have a great week ahead. Have a great week. I just want to thank all of our new members like Diane B., like Betty Meisner. I'm hoping you'll come back or join our groups IO. And let me write one more time my email where you can send me pictures of your garden or your work, your crafts. And because we love our show and tell. And if you'd like to join our group, Jeannie, how wonderful it is to see you. And all of our new people, you make our hearts sing. And Nadine, oh my gosh, how exciting to see our Nadine. And that was a big thrill. That made my Sunday. All right, everybody, have a great week. Take good care of yourself. And try to carve out a little time to do whatever craft you feel like doing. I'm kind of getting in the mood to do some paper bead making too. All right. Take good care. Bye-bye, darlings. Take good care of yourself. And I'll see you Thursday and next Sunday. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.